Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I am one of the hosts this evening of the Cultured Corner, Michael, followed by Cultured Other Person of the Corner, Sage.
That's me.
Hi.
You're doing great.
Yeah, you know.
This isn't a cultured corner topic,
No.
but I just started reading
It also doesn't have to be.
Hunter x Hunter.
Uh-huh.
Because I watched the anime, but I never read the manga all the way through.
Oh, okay.
And boy howdy, it's so fucking good. I'm like obsessed with it.
I feel like I'm very middling with Hunter x Hunter.
Really? Is it because you only watch the anime?
Well, yeah, but like I just didn't give a shit about the Chimera Anarch like at all.
That's fair.
In any capacity. I thought it was really, really boring and really long.
You know what it is? I think it's because I'm at the beginning of it that I'm like re-hyped about it, because I only have like, when I watched it, when did I watch it? I watched it like a few years ago now, so I don't like super well remember because I haven't like rewatched it since. So I remember having like really good memories of it for like especially like the first two arcs.
Right.
And I'm currently in the York New City arc.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, this is fucking incredible.
No, yeah, so I'm pretty sure I liked pretty much every arc but the Chimera Anarch. I think it just, like, I know it's not the end.
Right.
But as the ending that I have currently,
Yeah.
didn't care for it. I thought it was, there was very few things in that entire arc I actually liked.
I think that was like,
I like that it got really, like, dark out of nowhere, but, like,
yeah.
Like, I didn't find anything that was going on all that interesting.
Did the anime stop before the story ended, if I remember correct, or?
Hey, we're just going to go into at least anime spoilers, if you care.
Yeah. Because I don't remember now.
From what I remember, the last episode is when he finds his dad.
Okay.
Like, he climbs that fucking tree.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember if like, when did because I know the anime started in what, 2011?
The newer one, yes. And
then when did it end, though?
I don't know, and my computer's still loading, so I'll put it up on my phone.
Okay.
Because it's dead.
Because I feel like, I know, like, the manga went on hiatus, but they were planning on, like, continuing, if that makes sense. So I don't know if the anime ends before
I think
the
it
hiatus.
is continuing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if the anime ended before the hiatus was even over.
No, the hiatus was going on for like fucking 40 years.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
So I definitely ended before the hiatus was over. 2014.
The anime ended in 2014?
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so why did I just read something about a season 7? It didn't have 6 seasons.
I don't even know how it really labeled them as that, but there were 6 arcs.
I guess, but is that 6 seasons?
I think it was one of those shows that ran until it stopped because it's old shonen, so
That's true. That's
so
true.
Seasons, mostly just arcs. It didn't end. It's not new show.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, because it's not the 99 Hunter. And yeah, like from what I remember correctly, like that Chimera Anarch is so much of the last bit of that show. And I just
don't remember that literally at all.
The arc, or how much it was, or
how long it was. Even the
sure
arc, mainly because I watched it so long ago that it's like so blurry in my mind. And maybe I didn't like it, so I just kind of wiped it from my memory.
Because me and Kat were watching it at the same time, basically.
Yeah, but this was like a year or two ago now?
Yeah, around there. I think it was during, like, peak pandemic.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't remember exactly.
Because I remember you guys talking about it then.
I'm going to look it up.
But yeah, I like the manga.
It was 60 episodes.
Okay, 60 episodes, but that couldn't have been...
From 76 to 136.
Gotcha. That is really long. Damn.
and I didn't really like any of it.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. Although I don't know if it's because I
It
watched.
really tanked my opinion of the show.
I don't know if it's because I watched the anime first, but I feel like the manga is really quick.
I mean, I don't know how the pacing differs.
No, it doesn't even feel like the beats are faster, if that makes sense. It just seems like, I don't know if maybe the manga just had like more stuff filling out. Like, let's say like one episode would be like 3 chapters, right?
Right.
But maybe they, instead of doing 3 chapters, they were doing like 2.
Right.
So it made it like seem longer. But the manga is just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know because me and Kat were like had like a self bet of like who would finish the show quicker.
Right.
And then I hit the Chimera Ant arc, and I just like stopped because I just like
We're
couldn't
like,
get
well,
through
now
it.
I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, and I just like couldn't get through it because I was just so not interested, and so she beat me before I finished it because it took me so much longer. Like I'm pretty sure I got there a bit ahead of her because she had to like go on vacation or something and couldn't watch because I was already behind because we started the bet after she had already gotten into the show.
Right.
And I was like, I bet I could finish
Catch
it.
up
Yeah, I
and
bet
finish.
I could. Yeah. And then I hit the Chimera Ant arc and just went.
I'll have to rewatch the anime because I remember so little of that arc.
No, it must have been before pandemic because I think I was doing it while at the dock.
Maybe. I don't know
Yeah.
now. I can't remember. No, because I didn't start working at the dock.
19, right?
No, 2020.
Okay, so then 2020 would have been when we were doing it.
Right, so that would have been
So,
during
yeah.
COVID, not after.
Were we working
before.
that during the peak? Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't start till like August or July. So
Yeah.
like a little less hectic.
I'm pretty sure that was why I thought I could beat her was because I had the dock job and I was like I can just watch anime all day.
Right, you could just plow through it kind of thing.
Yeah, and then the Chimera Ant arc hit and I lost. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like if it continues and everything, like I'm still like interested. I still like the characters. But I just like I just that the ending is
Right.
just something I didn't really care for. And then
I would say give the manga a try. I think it's fun.
yeah, and then so technically it's not the ending, right? Because the Chimera Ant arc is 136. It has 148 episodes. The thing after that is where Leorio almost becomes the like president, right?
Oh,
It's like that follows up that.
but
bit.
that's like a very quick thing.
Yeah, but
if I
because
remember correct.
it's about like him being pissed at Gon's dad. That's why everyone starts rooting for him because he decks Gon's dad in the face, and
Yeah.
then doesn't win, and then that's when Leorio's like, "I saw your dad," like because he was in the hospital or whatever.
Right.
Go find him. So,
But that I think is. But then yeah, because it's not really like an ending. It's just
no, it's
where
just
the
the
anime
anime
stops.
just it decides to stop once he finds his dad,
yeah.
which. You achieve the goal that the guy set out to do at the beginning of the show. So, like, I mean,
I guess.
it's technically an ending.
But I think like the way they get there is very funny. Where you have like, what did you say it was, like 60 episode arc,
yeah,
and then you just have this like little bite-sized baby arc. Can you even call it an arc? It's not even like.
it's 12 episodes.
It's like a side story.
It's 12 episodes, which is about enough for a show.
That's true.
So, I mean, I'd say that is an arc.
You'd call, okay, so then you have like a much smaller scale arc, and then it's like, oh hey, hi dad, end.
Yeah.
That feels like very weird choice.
Finally. Yeah, no, I would agree, but like
I wonder if it's that long in the manga where it's like taking up multiple volumes kind of a thing.
I'm pretty sure it is the longest arc.
No,
Like,
I
regardless.
think it is definitely the longest arc even in the manga, but I wonder how long it is in comparison, like page wise versus like screen time, if that makes sense.
I can look that up, see how many chapters it is.
Because I think I'm on like chapter
Now that my computer's loaded.
50. I'm at the beginning right now.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty.
Because I just started reading it on like Saturday or something. I don't know.
Right. So you don't read Chainsaw Man, right?
I read the first 20 chapters, but I have so much manga that I'm trying to get through that I keep like reading 5 chapters at a time and then being like, okay, let me get through this other 12 manga I'm trying to read through as well. And same thing with like Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I started reading it, which I feel like I might skip the like prologue with Yuta because I watched the movie, so I'm like, yeah, I don't really fucking care anymore.
Right.
Even though I will be honest, I really started reading because I really like that art style in the manga. I think it looks so good. Because at first I was just gonna watch the anime and fuck off with the manga, but then I remember seeing like, I don't know where I saw it, but I saw a couple panels from the manga and I was like, that's fire. I need to read it just so I can experience like the artwork. You know what I mean?
So the Chimera Ant arc is 60 episodes and 132 chapters.
Whew.
So
That's a lot of chapters.
sure is. I think that's more chapters than the longest arc in My Hero, and that was like almost 100, I think.
But how many chapters is My Hero total?
Right now, it's almost at 300,
Oh, okay.
I believe.
Because I think... Hold, please. Because I'm pretty sure the Hunter x Hunter manga is pretty far along now. They're at 3 and change, if I remember correct.
Correction, almost 400.
Almost.
My Hero's at the latest chapter that just came out is 374.
Ooh. The Hunter x Hunter is at 397, which just came out on Monday.
Right, it did start
Sunday?
like actually
Yeah, they
releasing
just
itself again.
Yeah, so they had like a really long what do you call it? Hiatus, thank you. And then they had a comeback, and it looks like, I don't know if Shonen Jump is like super accurate, but it looks like they dropped like a whole bunch of chapters all on one day.
For Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah.
Honestly, they might do that just because of the
amount of time it's been.
Yeah, that they might just wait and then put out. Or is it every week?
It's every week, but I'm saying I think
Then yeah, it's probably just because they stopped translating and then went, okay, now it's starting again. We're gonna do it in batches.
Well, so I think it was what was it? 10. So it says on October 10th. It seems like 10 chapters came out on that day, and then it's been one every week. Since
So then then those were probably
backlog.
chapters that they just didn't
Gotcha.
translate probably. Or they did, but then it had been years, so they came off, and then they put them back on.
Maybe.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how they choose to do their like translation schedule.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea. And so I'm looking at like old searches that just popped up on my computer now, and One Punch Man. Have you watched One Punch Man?
I think I only watched like the first 5 episodes of season 1. It's been on my to watch list since it came out. When did it come out? 2014?
Somewhere around there.
I'm literally the worst.
You sure are.
At least I know.
I'll figure out where it came out. But so the 3rd season has been like, I think it's been confirmed that it's being made, or that it got greenlit. But we don't.
One Punch Man.
Yeah, but we don't have we didn't have a studio with that announcement.
So who did the 2nd season?
The 2nd season was so the 1st season was Madhouse,
Right.
which was a hand-picked team by the director to make this shit look as fucking beautiful as it possibly could, because they gave a shit.
Yeah.
And then they, between seasons, because it took so long for like studios to greenlight it, at least this is the story I was told. I guess it could be inaccurate, but this is what I was told.
Right.
It took so long that they took on another project because they were like, all right, well, let's do something else. And then they were like, hey, we wanna do season 2, and they're like, well, we're working on something else. Can you wait till after? And they were like, no, fuck you. So they gave it to a different studio. So they gave it to JC Staff.
Oh, okay.
And I've said this on the podcast before that like it is not JC Staff's fault that anime looks bad. They didn't give them the budget or the time.
Yeah, especially if you compare to like, because I think I remember this being a thing when season 2 came out. People were like complaining about the visuals.
The story was still great.
Especially like compared to season 1.
again, but it's also because it's a fucking hand-picked team.
Yeah, like that's
by
not
the greatest animators that this guy knew.
right. Like, that, I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, and JC Staff was just like, they just got like a show pushed on them, and they were like, all right, cool, here, do it in like a month.
Yeah.
Not actually a month, but
Right.
they were given no time and no money, so obviously it was going to look worse. JC Staff's put out good work before. They do the entire A Certain series, and most of those look fucking great. Scientific Index, Magical Index, Scientific Railgun, and Scientific Accelerator.
Sure.
They're great.
Didn't watch any of
They're
those.
fun. So season 3, apparently there's a rumor going around that Mappa is also going to be taking season fucking 3.
I was gonna say, I was wondering if Mappa was gonna get into the mix.
And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, they're doing everything.
I while you were saying that, like, Madhouse did season 1 and what'd you say was JC?
Yeah, JC Staff.
JC Staff did season 2. I'm like, I wonder if if Mappa's gonna try and take on season 3.
They sure are.
I mean, I think it will look good, but like, how many projects do you guys need?
All of them.
Disgusting. I hate it.
Apparently, it's just everything. Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, fucking
And
maybe One Punch Man.
I think I said this when we were talking about Mappa before, that I was like, it's not even shows that are like low quality and easy to like throw out there.
Nope. Because we were talking about this during Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh right, yeah.
Where we were like, they've taken on so much shit. Fucking, they're taking on Vinland Saga season 2.
Oh yes.
Apparently their big thing is just picking up Wit's thrown out garbage.
And then turning them really good.
Well, they were already good, but like,
Right.
Because it's Wit. Wit doesn't do bad stuff, but
That's
they're whatever Wit goes, we don't want to do this anymore. They're
Yeah.
like, we'll do it.
We got it.
And then they're doing Attack on Titan, another Wit studio thing that they dropped, and Wit dropped it because they were being overworked.
Oh yeah.
And Mappa goes, we don't care.
Ugh, I hate
We
it.
outsource.
I hate it here.
We'll make the people in some other country fucking die doing this.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's a bit absurd.
That sounds absurd.
And recently, me and Kieran have been going through not an anime, a Western show. Blasphemy, I know. But The Owl House. I don't know if you've.
Kieran was telling me about that. He said it was good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Legitimately hilarious. Looks very good, even though it's on a cheap budget, and it's got all the gay, and I love it.
Love.
Yeah. The main girl is like is bi and into this other girl or something, and I don't want to give it away just because like it's kind of cute.
Part
what
of
goes
the
on,
story.
yeah.
Gotcha.
But not them discovering their sexualities. I think that's just like.
Factual.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
like it doesn't really come up. It's pretty fluid and natural. It's not like one of those things where they like fucking jam it in your face.
Yeah, I'm
It's just
picking
like,
up
oh
what you-
yeah, these are people,
Yeah.
not caricatures of people.
Yeah, I appreciate when they're not caricatures.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, this is a person that just happens to be in love with a girl.
Right.
Not a oh, this person's whole thing is that they're in love with a girl.
Yeah.
And it's great. Half the time I'm yelling at the screen and I'm like, bring back the gay. Where's the gay? And like, because it's just like they'll go off to a different
Can I
storyline.
derail this for like 3 seconds?
Sure.
Did you watch Wednesday?
No.
Damn it.
How's the dance?
It was fine. I didn't really care about that. I like the like scene that followed that dance though.
All I know is that she brought in the dance from the original Wednesday show. The television
Yeah,
Addams
very
Family show.
cute.
Yeah, like the fucking shuffle.
Uh-huh.
And then so I saw because I've seen the dance is everywhere.
Oh yeah, the dance is everywhere.
And and I love it. It's great.
No, I don't know why, but I really thought I wasn't gonna like this show.
Interesting.
But then
It
I
feels
was
like it'd be right up your alley.
right. So like the aesthetic is definitely right up my
Right.
alley. But something when I was watching the trailers, it just seemed like a little bit much, like too edgy, if that makes sense. Where I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be my cup of tea because I like a very particular brand of edginess, if you know what I mean. But then I was like, you know what? Let me just try watching the show. See if I don't like it, that's fine. Who cares? Although I was surprised, it's only 8 episodes,
Okay.
which I thought Netflix usually does like 10.
I like to think they're learning somewhat, which is however long the story that the person's writing is.
Yeah, that's fair. But
I like to hope. at least.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's only 8 episodes, so it's a really quick watch. No, but I really ended up enjoying it. I think I watched the whole thing in like maybe 2 days or something.
I have been meaning to get to it.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
I was thinking about starting it sooner, and then Kieran was watching Owl House because it came out on Disney Plus. Because so it has 3 seasons.
Oh, so I'll watch it then.
Yeah, the
'Cause
first
on Disney
2
Plus
are
now.
on Disney Plus. The third is currently coming out, but it's canceled after the third.
Oh, sad.
According to the writer, they were like, in not the same words, they were basically like, yeah, it doesn't fit Disney's image, so we're canceled because there's gay representation, I guess.
But like, I kind of hate that shit, and that like Disney keeps trying to pay like lip service to representation.
Yeah, but not actually support it.
Yeah, it's very annoying to me. I remember, I don't know if you ever watched, what was it? I think it was like Good Luck Charlie or something.
Yeah.
Where I don't know that this is the actual show it was on it, but it was of that like live action Disney sitcom kind of thing.
Okay.
But they had this like scene where they were talking about like, oh, like Brenda's moms are on their way kind of thing.
I do remember that.
You remember that, right? But then like I don't think we ever even meet Brenda's moms. They're just,
Yeah, wasn't that episode like taken off the air?
I don't know.
I think there was like a whole thing about it.
I do remember it being like a whole thing where people were upset that they were like, I think that might be why we never met Brenda's moms, but I think that was like a thing. And the whole reason why I even brought up Wednesday is because one of the characters has 2 moms, but they literally, it's so like fly by and you'll miss it, so casual, like very normal the way they do it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, see, that's what we need more of. Because then they're just 2 humans that exist that happen to be together and have a child. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I wish television did that more instead of being like either paying lip service or like really ham-fisted with it. What is it?
I'm reading the quotes from the moms that sent in
Uh-oh.
complaints about the gays.
No! Wait, read me some.
Disney has decided to be politically correct instead of providing family-friendly programming. Disney should stick to entertainment, not pushing an agenda. Conservative families need to urge Disney to avoid controversial topics that children are far too young to comprehend.
Oh my good lord.
God, I hate this.
I just can't, I truly cannot wrap my brain around being so upset with just like the mere of existence of certain people.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't it seem like so much effort to be that upset?
Apparently, according to this, Disney reportedly consulted with child development experts and advisors before crafting the episode, and a rep said that the show was developed to be relevant to kids and families around the world and to reflect themes of diversity and inclusivity. But I felt like I remembered them. Maybe it was just people bitching about it, and not that it actually got taken down.
Off the air.
Yeah.
But also, if you think about it, I feel like this was towards like the very like end of cable television being popular.
Right.
So I feel like if anything, they would probably just leave it up there to like.
I don't know. They fucking edited a
stir
bunch
up-
of their shit on goddamn
No, I know.
Disney Plus, like, for no reason, because they're all about to like re-editing their history. Whereas, at least, you know, with stuff like WB and Paramount, like on their services, there's just a warning before things that go, this was made in a different time. We do not believe these values anymore,
Yeah.
but it is important for you to see that what people used to do.
Right.
And then you watch it and it's like a vaudeville act of like, it's like blackface, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And they're like, but that's all you got to do. You got to put the thing in front of it that's like, we do no longer
Right.
agree with any of these
Actually,
things, but this is important to not just pretend doesn't exist.
I remember when HBO Max was first launching their app, they were going to have Gone with the Wind on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
And people were getting really upset at HBO for having this movie. And they're like, why are you upset with us? This is like cinematic history right here. It's worse for us to not have this, because then you're not like, people later on were not going to realize that these things, one, did happen, and 2, this is how cinema was created at this time.
Most
Like-
cinema was racist to start.
Exactly, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so I remember, like, people were really upset that they were going to have this movie, and HBO was like, I don't know what you want us to do about it. I actually think they ended up not putting it on.
I can find
We'll
out.
find out, because I can't remember exactly, but, yeah, I just think this whole, like, revisionist history of, like, television and movies is quite dangerous. I think
Gone
it's
with the
actually,
Wind, right?
yeah.
It looks like it. They temporarily took it down. And then they put it back up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's back on.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's stupid for, like, especially
Yeah, it
such
says
a
there's
huge...
an introductory disclaimer that discusses the historical context of the classic film.
Yeah. Which is all you really need. Like, just a quick disclaimer like, hey, this was then. Our current views do not align with this, but, like, it's worse for us to pretend this movie doesn't exist.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. But
You-
Disney's, like, wiping of history, I think, is very silly. Because it's like, has no one ever heard the term, like, if you don't learn history, you're bound to repeat it?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, why pretend like something didn't happen?
Although, weirdly,
Maybe it's not in the United States.
weirdly, not weirdly, that's not the right thing to say, but the guy who wrote the screenwriter that wrote 12 Years a Slave, John Ridley, urged Warner Media to remove the film, just saying that, you know, it's bad, and does a bunch of shitty things and, you know, racist shit. But again, yes, it does do that, but you should still be able to show it to people to learn that this happened.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I think that's where it gets a little weird, because, you know, it's the people that were being repressed and marginalized in the movie. Some of them are saying, you know, not to have it because it's bad, but also, like, which side do you go with, of, like, them saying it's bad, but also you should probably learn from it, because you're not going. Most people aren't going to that movie being like, woo, yeah, slaves.
yeah.
Like, I'm sure that's why I'm not going to say all people aren't, but
I think it's like, okay,
and
so
even if there are people that are going like, woo, yeah, slaves, what the fuck are they getting out of that movie? Like,
yeah.
what, they're going to watch that movie and then go like, yeah, let's go bring back slavery?
I mean, I feel like there are definitely people out there that are like that, and that's just the thought of that is terrifying.
It sure is.
But do you remember when, like, Handmaid's Tale was first coming out?
Yeah, I never actually watched it, but yes.
Okay, so I only watched 2 seasons because it's just too brutal for me to get through, to be completely honest.
Okay.
It is the most depressing show I've ever seen in my life. There is, like, I don't know if at some point there's, like, a light at the end of the tunnel kind of a thing, but the first 2 seasons are just so rough to watch, especially from, like, the female point of view, where I'm like, not only could I, one, see that being a thing that happens, especially here in the United States, because everyone's a fucking wacko here, but also, like, it's so interesting because in that, like, so it's basically like, imagine, like, USA,
Right.
but, like, instead of just being like, oh, no more Roe v. Wade, let's do it to, like, the most extreme version of that, essentially.
Right.
Right? But then you have other countries. So, like, it starts out, like, it doesn't seem like, it seems like, oh, this is just the world now. But no, it's just the United States, and other countries can't be, like, coming in and being like, this is wrong.
Right.
Because, like, I think in season 3 or 4, they try to get, like, Canada's help to, like, expose what's going on in the United States. But Canada's like, hey, so you guys have your own laws and legislations? And that's a really, like, slippery slope. Because, like, obviously there's, like, human rights violations going on, but at the same time, like, they're so steadfast in their ways that I think they would rather, like, break out into all out, like, international war
Right.
than, like, change, if that makes sense.
Well, it's like in the same like extreme example, right, where like it's the whole thing of like the far like ideologically, you know what the word I'm trying to say here?
Like radicalized?
Yeah, radicalized. I couldn't think of the fucking word.
I was like, ideologicalized.
Yeah, radicalized like groups of people, like regardless of side,
Right.
you know, are all doing harm, and it's like you could just round them all up and throw them out. But it's also like, yeah, but that's also still basically kind of doing the same shit, even though you disagree with them. It's like,
I mean, I'm the kind of person who believes that like extremes exist for a reason.
they help you realize that you don't want them,
Not only do they help you realize that you don't want those extremes, but it's also, I think, like,
as long as you're of right mind and body.
right. But like, I also think like, if you didn't have like, let's say like extreme right leaning or extreme left leaning or like radicalized people or whatever, like, I don't think we would, as humans, be able to like understand the need for change,
Right.
because everybody would just be like middle ground.
Yeah, because you're seeing that and you're like, people still fucking think this way. We gotta do something about
Yeah,
that.
it's like when you have like your Uncle Bob at Thanksgiving and he's like saying some really out of pocket shit and you're like, Uncle Bob, what the fuck? You can't be saying that kind of stuff here.
No, not Uncle Bob.
Not Uncle Bob.
No, don't bring up the LBQJs, Uncle Bob.
LBQJs.
Yeah, you know how like when people don't give a shit, they pretend they don't know what the fucking acronym is, so they make
so
it
they
up.
just say anything?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was going with.
Gotcha.
Just like, oh god, he's going on about the Uncle Bob. It's LGBT. No, okay, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So this is just a fun tidbit about like the Uncle Bobs of the world.
Okay.
But
R.I.P. to the Uncle Bobs.
but when I was a kid, I think my family was weirdly like anti the word gay. So instead they would say homosexual, which like isn't wrong,
Right.
but it's just a very odd quirk.
Oh, are them those homosexuals?
No, not like that.
No,
But
I
they'll
know.
be like, oh, you know, so and so, like she's a homosexual. Her and her wife, blah blah blah, right?
Right.
Like they don't really care, but they were just like weirdly against using the word gay, and I'm like, you're not gonna like turn gay yourself if you say it. I swear.
I feel like that's more of like a.
I think it's like a generation thing.
I was gonna go with a correct course correction, of like they don't want to get. Like
Maybe,
they don't want to
but,
say
like,
something mean, so you just say it as the clinical term.
Like maybe, but I knowing my family, they are not really caring about being
I guess that's
politically
fair.
correct.
I guess that's fair, but
Especially my grandma's boyfriend, he's a savage.
well, because I do know some people that just stick to like clinical terms for things just that way. Nobody can get upset.
I guess
Everybody can find a way to get upset.
I was gonna
these
say
days.
everyone can find a way to be upset, but I know.
How dare you call me a homosexual? That is marginalizing. And you're like,
what?
What? No. It's the same thing of like where I find the inclusivity a good thing, obviously, but also like weirdly hindering in a way. Like, you know, like had the original pride flag was the rainbow flag, right? And the whole point of the rainbow is that it spans all the colors of the spectrum. But then you have the new flag, which adds all the other colors, and then you keep adding the other like letters to the LGBTQ plus, and then I don't know.
I just always go with the plus because I personally cannot keep up with the amount.
But like, so like, I feel like it's odd where it's like, I understand that you want to be visualized, but the whole point of the flag or the plus is that everybody is included.
Right.
So feeling like you're not included and then needing to add the thing to be included is making it not inclusive.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Like, because now other people are going to be like, well, my color's not on there.
Yeah.
So like, it's weirdly creating an uninclusive area.
So what's interesting about that, like, so when it was just the rainbow, it was
At least from my knowledge. I
I-
know I am just a regular fucking dude. I'm just that's the way I've always kind of viewed it, is that it feels like to be as inclusive as you're trying to be, it's weirdly being exclusive.
well, so I have some like kind of tea
Okay.
about
Were
that.
you in the room when they made the new flag?
No, I wasn't in the room, but I do remember this being like a really big topic on Tumblr when Tumblr was in its heyday.
Well, hey, Tumblr's back in its heyday. The porn's back.
Oh, see, they made the right choice. But yeah, so when Tumblr was in its heyday, there was a lot of talk about like the flag and all that jazz, and then people were talking about like whether or not they should be adding more or leave it and just, you know, like you're saying, like have the plus kind of a thing. And there was a lot of actual like drama and discourse about this. It was really interesting. But people were saying like, well, why? Because the whole argument originally was like, because what was it originally? Just LGBT, right?
LGBT, yeah.
And then they added on the Q and then plus, right? So at first it was just lesbian, bi, gay, trans, if I remember correct. And then they added queer, because queer,
It's supposed to be everything.
right, queer is supposed to be everything. Originally it was just the 4, then they tacked on the Q to be like everybody else who we didn't like initially label, because essentially everybody else is a subset of something else,
Right.
which is in my
The technicolor rainbow that is
right.
the spectrum.
Right. So then they
Sexual
added
spectrum.
on the Q to be like, hey, we get it. If you're not specifically these 4 things, you still fall under like a subset of this. So they add on the Q. Then they started adding on literally every single letter in the alphabet. And it was getting to be too much, which is why they eventually went to the plus, because I think it was like IA something something. It was really long.
So we got back to the IA.
Yeah, it was really long. And then they were like, this is, I think everyone agreed that it was just too much. So that's why they had the plus now. But there was a lot of talk about being like, oh, well, I'm asexual and I don't feel represented. Or I'm polyamorous and I don't feel represented. You know what I mean? Like,
Is polyamory part of the spectrum?
no, but that was just an example.
Okay.
Or like, I'm non-binary, right?
Right.
And I don't feel like I'm included in this because a non-binary person isn't transgender. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So there was like a lot of people who were feeling left out, which is why they did that. And then like with the changing of the flag, because originally it was just the rainbow, but then
Right.
they started adding like other colored stripes, and then they added like that triangle with different colors inside it as well.
Right.
Which I also think the rainbow was just fine. But also I think in like today's like popular nomenclature, the rainbow is like particularly just for gay pride. Whereas like, because basically like every subset has a flag of their own kind of a thing.
Yeah, I do know that.
But
Some people got some bad luck on the color draw.
Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, so
Whoever just got to decide some of those, I feel bad that you like lost some color choices in there.
I know, I always wonder who makes those.
Like I look at some of the flags and I'm like, damn, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to, like, just for the flag alone, like because you know, like a lot of people, if you're bi or gay or whatever, you put up the flag of
Right.
what you are, and I'm looking at some of them like, I wouldn't want that flag hanging in my room. not because I don't agree, but just because it doesn't look good.
Wait, hold on. I can't remember what the pansexual flag is, but I remember being upset about it when I first saw it.
So
I didn't think it was
I know
cute.
it's a simple joke,
Yeah.
but one of my favorite TikToks is just the stupid shit of like, hey, I'm gonna go wash my dishes. Oh, I can do it for you. No, you can't. What? Is it because I'm pansexual? Yes.
Yes.
You're not getting near my pans. Like those jokes, they're so fucking stupid. Love them.
I love them. I think they're really funny every time. Oh,
or it's
yeah,
just
so
like badass fight scenes that were like
it's
from a
pink,
video
yellow,
game.
and blue, but like specifically these hues.
Yeah.
Very bright. Because yellow is one of my least favorite colors, so I was upset about it.
Yeah, because like I love those. Or like game cinematics where it's like somebody fighting off a bunch of people and it's just like me defending my kitchen from the pansexuals. Like, I find that shit so funny.
It's really good.
I'm trying to remember what the demisexual flag is because it was either really cool or really bad. Okay.
Do you remember when like somebody was like, "How come there's no heterosexual flag?" And I think it was just like a black and white bar. That was funny.
Well, it was the whole thing of like the super gay, right?
What do you mean?
Originally, where the people were like, I mean, the same stupid shit, but like, the super gay where they're like, or super straight, sorry.
Oh, I'm like,
No, the super straight, where it's like,
you're just so heterosexual, you explode.
Well, yeah, because yeah, but because like, take the absolute absurdity of the original point. Like, I guess the idea is that like, if the whole point is inclusivity, then shouldn't everybody be included, even if you're just straight? Like, was I generalized argument, and then everyone was like, but obviously they were doing it maliciously,
Right?
So it doesn't matter what your argument was,
Right?
Because you're doing it maliciously, and you're all assholes.
Yeah.
But I guess the like general point is like, if you're being about inclusivity, yet like, because I've had a bunch of friends that are very in the LGBT community, and some of them are like fucking toxic community as shit. Like,
Oh no, it's rough out there. Like, as somebody who I don't really
apparently
like,
the war between pansexuals and bisexuals,
it's just,
apparently a bloodbath.
Yeah, no. I do also remember this being a thing where, I mean, there's this like weird like hate towards bisexuals that like a lot of people just don't believe in bisexuals, which I think is bizarre. And then when like pansexuals started going around, people were like, "Oh, you're just like trying to save face," kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah, it was really weird. And I remember like people being like straight up like having like attacking people, being like, "You can't be bisexual, like you're dating a man or you're dating a woman." It's like, yeah, I like both. That's the whole point.
Right.
Right? And they're like, but like it's weird because some people
I heard the whole
believe like,
argument of like, what was it? Hearts, not parts.
yeah.
Just like,
But there's like a thing of like some people are like, there are a lot of people who believe like you're either gay or a lesbian essentially, or you're straight.
right.
So, and it's so like bizarre to me, especially because it's not even just people who are straight who are like who say those things. It's like people who are like in the LGBTQ plus community, and I'm like, why are you guys caring so much? Like, does that directly impact your own life?
Again,
No.
I think it's like the internet argument where it's like everybody has a seat at the table,
Right.
but you're being so overly protective of it that you're no longer being what you originally stood for, which was about being open to everybody,
Yeah.
because you feel a need to defend this for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like it's still
Especially
like,
nowadays where like for the most part, at least the younger generation don't give a shit what you are.
yeah, I feel like
Like you don't need to be necessarily combative about it.
yeah, nowadays I think it's a lot more like chillax, opposed to like Tumblr heyday where like everyone was losing their goddamn minds.
Right.
Because I think a part of it is one, like you were saying, like the younger generation, because of how they're being brought up and what they're being exposed to. I think they're a lot more carefree about it because it's just.
I've always been of the part of like the peace of mind that like I don't give a shit what you are, just don't shove your shit in my face.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if you're straight, I don't give a fuck. Just don't be like all up in my face about whatever the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Just you have your own personal bubble. I have mine.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
I'm not gonna fight against you. And I'll support you, but like just don't be like the people that's like it's their personality kind of thing.
Yeah, I think people who like start shoving down like rhetoric down others' throats is when it becomes
Although
a
I will say
problem.
some of my favorite jokes, although I have seen people do this in real life and I don't like it there, but like some of the jokes where it's like, you know, it was some TikTok I think where it was like a bus was like crashing or something. I don't remember exactly. But and it was just like this like very flamboyantly gay character was like, I'm gay, get out of the way, and just like shoves people to get
Yeah.
out first, and I'm like, that's funny. But also I've seen somebody do that in real life and it's kind of a dick move.
Yeah.
Like
It's like John Mulaney where he's like, I'm gay, give me money.
yeah. Point to say is have some neutral ground there, people.
No, I just think I don't know if this will happen like within our lifetime, but I
Who
think
knows?
things will get so extreme and intense that at some point like the bubble will burst and everyone will calm the fuck down.
Well, I feel like everything in life is pretty cyclical, which is to say, like, you can use TV as the example. Used to have 5 channels,
Right.
and then everybody was able to get TV, and so you got more channels and more channels and more channels, and then you made the cable box,
Right.
and then cable existed. And then you got more channels and more channels, and then it became stupid fucking expensive, and then streaming happened.
Yeah.
And then you had like 2 streaming services where you could get everything without ads, and you're like, fuck yes. And then everybody was like, oh, we should do that.
yeah.
And now nobody fucking buys cable. And there are 50 billion streaming services that you're now paying about the same amount of money for.
yeah.
And eventually, I'm sure somebody's going to make a fucking box that'll be like all the streaming services in one platform. And you're going to...
You wait, no, it won't even be a box because you know how most like smart TVs nowadays on the remote you'll have like Netflix, YouTube
button,
TV,
yeah.
like Hulu.
It'll just be all, instead of numbers,
Yeah,
it's
numbers.
just
It
the,
would be just like streaming service
Yeah.
buttons, and then like up, down, volume, and like
Right.
not even channel,
and,
just
and,
volume.
and there'll just be a flat fee of like for all of them.
yeah,
You'll need one like email for everything. You'll just get your TV and it'll be like, all right, enter an email to sign up for all these
for
accounts.
all of these accounts.
and it'll be like a whole thing, and then you're just gonna be back to paying the exact same fucking price you were for cable.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go back to cable because you're gonna be like, at least this is cheaper, and it's just. And so it's going to be like the same shit where like everybody was being repressed and bad. Now everything's getting free, but now you're getting more like now people are getting more like fighty.
It's that thing of like, cause you know
Everything goes in cycles.
You know how like the recent topic in the past couple years has been like cancel culture and like
Right.
how everyone's so sensitive these days and this, that, the other thing. But I feel like in real life, I don't think that's true. I think that's like explicitly on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely happens. Like, you know, you see the videos online. And shit
No,
like
yeah,
that.
it
But
does-
like also the internet helps make things seem like they are bigger than they are.
Oh yeah, the internet propels things to like the most extreme end.
It's why in some ways it's like why Twitter's such a cesspool.
Yeah.
Because in like and it's anywhere on the internet that does the same thing, but you surround yourself with like-minded people, and if you're only surrounded by yes men, you'll never think what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, like you can't think critically that way.
Like literally every single friend I have thinks the opposite of me. Like it, and so I'm surrounded by no men. And it's great because then I have people like because it's a way to like learn other perspectives, which is the
Right.
most important thing in your fucking life. You
Yeah.
need other people to disagree with you so you can learn other things, as long as they're intelligent about it. If they're just
Right.
saying no to
if they're just like saying
yeah.
nonsense strings, that's not super
right,
useful.
but being surrounded by yes men is never useful to anything.
yeah, if anything, like you said, being surrounded by no men is way better.
It is. I mean, like to an extent. Again, they have to be knowledgeable. Like,
Right,
if
you
you're
can't.
just
They
getting
can't
it-
just be bashing you.
If people
for
are
no
just
reason.
saying no, then you're just gonna fucking hate yourself and think you're an idiot, and
Right.
you spiral.
They need to be like intellectual no men.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not even all that intellectual, but like I have some opinions on things,
You
and
have your wits about you
yeah.
enough that you can like get through. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and but every friend I think I've ever made has been an opposite in my opinions. And I think that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, no, I think it makes for a much more enriching conversation.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we don't even talk all that much about, like, as a group about political views or
Right.
whatever views.
Because I
just
feel like
also
most
it's
of
not
us,
necessary.
one, we don't really care as long as you're not like extreme all right. You know
Right.
what I mean? I feel like most of us are pretty like lackadaisical about those things, unless you like start doing some really out of pocket shit. But I don't think that's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I'm gonna go fund a dictatorship.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
I'm actually moving to Russia right now.
Yeah, I got my bags packed. There's a private jet on the fucking lawn.
I'm
There's a private Harrier jet on the lawn. I'm going.
bye.
I was like,
forever.
hey, yo, Putin, I got like $5 to my name. And he was like, gotcha.
That's $5 more than I had before.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
We got here from one show talking about
Yeah,
the
we got here
gays.
from talking about Hunter x Hunter.
We sure did.
It was a very interesting.
All right, so on a way to like conversation to wrap this episode.
Yeah.
After this episode, me and Kieran are gonna go fake tree shopping.
Oh, cute.
Normally, I've always gotten real trees,
Right.
But I have friends that are allergic to trees. I mean, in general, but also specifically Christmas trees.
Right.
So
It's a pretty common allergy, actually.
yeah, surprisingly. But they are very, very allergic. So I was like, all right, well, if I want people to be able to come over my house, I don't want to have to deal with it.
Right.
Because I don't have parents here anymore, so people can just fucking come over whenever the hell they want.
Right.
So I'm gonna get a fake tree,
Right.
which is in a way kind of a bummer because
Why? Then you can just reuse it every year.
real trees are nostalgic to me.
No, that's fair.
I understand that they are bad for the environment and stuff, and like it's a whole
They
thing.
used to be nostalgic for me too, but we stopped getting them when I was like 12 because that's when my grandpa died.
Oh, we've gotten them every year.
And my mom could not fathom having a real tree after he passed away because he used to give us one every year. And she was like, I will flip out if I have a real tree. So then we've used fake trees. So they're no longer like nostalgic for me because
Right.
I was so young when we stopped using them.
Well, yeah. So real trees are nostalgic to me because what we would do is we'd, as a family, go out to
Right.
get a tree. And we'd go to the different places. My parents would ignore my tree suggestion.
Did you pick like wimpy ass trees?
I used to think I picked great trees. They've only ever agreed with my opinion twice
I see.
in my life.
I
They were
see.
the biggest achievements I've ever had.
Even your
peaked.
parents are no men.
Yeah. Well, my mom's very particular.
Gotcha.
And then we'd get the tree. Obviously, you'd let it fall for a little bit, and then we'd all get together, and it would be like my dad would put on the lights.
Right.
And it was always the not white, not colored. It was like the warm lights.
Warm yellow lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the old ones that they
Yeah, that they
I
don't
know that
sell
they
anymore.
Make anymore because
My
they're-
mom is very upset that they don't sell them
They're
anymore.
basically a fire hazard. Do you know how hot those lights get? It's
Yeah.
insane.
You had to keep your tree very well watered.
Yeah, and then you put it on like a fucking dead ass tree. Like, oh, let me just burn my house down.
We watered our tree a lot.
Gotcha.
And so like those are nostalgic to me, but they don't make them anymore.
Right.
So and the white I think looks bad. I think it's
Well,
boring.
just do rainbow.
Well, right. So I mean, I would do colored. But it's warm. It's warm colored white.
Yeah, I think white only looks good around like a window.
Yeah. But anyway. And then so my dad would do the lights, and after he would put the lights in, then me and my sister would put up the ornaments. My dad would help every now for some of them, but it was mostly me and my sister, and then my mom would put tinsel on.
Right.
And so like it was a whole family thing. We'd have Christmas music and whatever.
Did you do a
like,
star?
We had like an angel that was
okay.
from like my great grandparents.
Gotcha.
So-
We have at my parents' house, they do a Santa Claus that was my dad's when he was a kid that he got from his parents before they passed away.
Mm.
And I don't even know how he got it. He must have gotten it from his aunt, actually. Because he was living with his aunt when he was 12. And then I think he got the Santa before she died.
Mm.
But she died when he was like 17, 18? I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, no, we put a really old angel on the top of ours.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Santa still works.
Oh,
it's a light-up one.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think he must have changed the bulb at some point. But I'm
Yeah, I
surprised it still even plugs in.
Yeah. But yeah, so that we would do that, and then like so it's all like kind of nostalgic to me. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be weird. My dad literally asked me like last week. He was like, "So do you want to come with us to get the tree?"
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't live there anymore. Like why? Like what I said was because, like I said, it's an ongoing joke in my family that they never pick the tree I pick. So I was
Right.
like, I don't even live there anymore. You want me to go with you
to not
to
pick
have
the
you
tree I
to
want.
have you tell me no for a tree that I'm not even going to be living there? You're going to be like, why would we let you pick the tree? You don't live here. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But it was like kind of sad,
Right.
like in a way. But anyway, so we're gonna create a fake tree, and
Right.
I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I think it makes sense to put it up here,
Right.
but I feel like it'd be nicer downstairs. But then I have to worry about the cat, so I don't know.
Yeah, and
I'm not
also I
too-
feel like it will make downstairs feel kind of cluttered.
yeah, maybe. I was thinking about if I get like a little bit of a smaller one and put it on that windowsill,
That might be cute.
and
Like a
that
little
bay window
3-footer.
area. Yeah,
That might be cute.
I don't know.
But yeah, if you get one, I find that actually Home Depot is pretty good for them.
yeah, because I want to get it before our Christmas party.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're having our Christmas party till later.
By the way, what the fuck was that random ass argument that Colin started?
I don't know. I was very confused. That's why I didn't interject.
I was like, because I was like, oh, so are we just gonna do this? And then he was like, or we could just hand the gifts to the people. And I was like, why would we? What? I was like, it's Secret Santa. And then he was like, but why would we do that? And I was like, but that's like the point.
That's
like it's more fun to do that than just hand the person the gift. And then he was like, I'm not making an argument when Kirsten came up, and I was like, what do you mean? I was like trying to fucking figure out what the problem was, and it was like, he was like, oh, why would I do that? I was like, what do you mean, Colin? I was
Oh my
like,
goodness.
oh God, he's done that like at least 3 times this year. I'm like, you're making me look like I'm crazy.
Gaslighting you.
I was like, Jesus
I
Christ.
think that was the word of the year, actually, gaslighting.
No, it was Goblin Mode.
What
Yeah.
the fuck is that?
Goblin Mode?
Yeah.
Never heard Goblin Mode?
I hate you so much. Fuck you.
No, I'm serious. Like, you haven't?
Obviously not.
I figured like it's like when when you like stay at home and like do nothing and you're like fucking like just like chowing down on shit and watching bad TV and never leave from like a bundle of blankets. You're just being like
Oh,
goblin.
did you mean my every single weekend?
Yeah, you're Goblin Mode. You just act like a fucking degenerate that's not good, that like normal society would look down upon, but you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Goblin Mode.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you're every weekend.
Never heard of that.
Really?
No.
Okay, interesting. Like we say it all the time in the group.
Oh, I always think of like Gremlin.
It's the same thing.
Because my roommate in college had me in her phone as filthy little gremlin for a while until she changed it to husband. And my icon is an anime girl like chugging vodka.
Nice. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, we're going to wrap it up there. So thanks for watching.
Tell me in the comments if Goblimon is a real thing or if Michael is lying to me.
Why would I lie about that?
Because I just said gaslighting was the word of the year, and now I feel like you're jumping off of it.
I would never do such a thing. How dare you insinuate otherwise? You could also just look it up.
I could, but they could tell me.
Fair enough.
I'll
Anyway,
wait with anticipation.
With anticipation. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, like, follow. You have 4 weeks to watch Chivalry of a Failed Knight.
Oh, right, we're watching that. 12 episodes.
Yes, I believe that's what the name of it is.
I think that's what it's called.
I believe so. So don't forget to watch that, or just join us anyway, even if you don't watch it. I don't care. I'm not your boss. And we will see you guys next week for whatever the fuck we talk about. Bye.